Hello everyone, welcome back to the Keep Productive YouTube channel. It is Francesco here, and in today's video I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing what's called a Mailbox Monday. I actually stole this from other YouTubers who do this, and it's really just an opportunity for the community to send in some questions. We had a few comments on the Facebook post that I posted. If you're not part of the Keep Productive Facebook group, that'd be awesome to have you in that, and definitely you can join and obviously send in questions anytime. But I got a few questions and I thought I'd share them with you, so let's dive into this video. Just before we dive in, this video is sponsored by Woven. I'll show you a little bit of an introduction to Woven a little bit later in our ad, and you'll think you'll really enjoy it, and you should definitely check it out. So big thanks to those guys for sponsoring. Our first question comes from Ondrage. I really am going to butcher people's names. I've always said this, I'm not very good at names, even though I've got a bloody tricky one. The first question is, what to do when, for whatever reason, your productivity system breaks? How do you get it back on track? Now, this was actually a phenomenal question, because a lot of people have this worry when they've set themselves up, maybe 6-12 months down the line. They struggle because their tool doesn't map to their overwhelming work needs, or their tool is not suitable maybe and decides to break down, or maybe they've been using a method for many years and fourth year in it decides to stop being as applicable. And this is something that will naturally happen in our lives. I think we naturally go through these cycles where you have different priorities, you have different wants and needs, and you're naturally going to be growing as a person throughout that. So we're going to have these productivity breakdowns. Some people might be moving from paper to digital or digital to paper in this period of time, and it can become a little bit tricky. But the advice I'd give Ondrage is more to be able to understand when you're having a problem with your productivity setup, not getting too worried, because there is a way to solve it. And I think there's two ways of solving it. You're either going to find out that it's going to be your methods, your actual guidelines and the way that you've been taught how to be productive. It could be GTD, might not be suitable for you anymore. It might be that the method that you've been going through, the workflow that you've been having is an issue. And I call that the method, the sort of guiding rules to your productivity. Or it could be the tools. The tool may be too big for you, it may be too small for you, and you may have outgrown it, or you may not be fully utilizing it to allow you to take all in the overload of work. But it's important not to dwell too much on it. It's important then to just be able to review it and say, what is the problem, the method or the tool? If it's the method, you can then begin to look at other methodologies, or look at the existing methodology and say, what areas of it aren't working? Is it this part? Is it that part? And you can fix that workflow. Or is it the tools? And then you can weigh up all your tools and actually see, are they meeting my needs now? Or what features do you think I should be using? Am I now more of a visual person? Am I now someone that needs this functionality? Or am now on these devices, so I need these abilities? So it's important to be able to evaluate what the problem is and then to take action. Of course, this is naturally something that's going to take a bit of time and may make you feel a little bit sort of in a bit of a bad spot, but I can guarantee you, if you persist, it probably, chances are, your productivity will improve over time if you evolve and continually look at it and say whether it is the method or the tool that's failing. Okay, we've got another question from Pierre. Now, he says, statistically speaking, which one is better in personal task management? The Kanban, the list, the Gantt, the chart, the calendar, or box view? Now, it's really funny because in the comments of this one, Marie put, it depends. And she thinks the answer is depends. And she is right. It totally depends on the person. When it comes to personal task management and using a tool for it and using a view for it, it really is up to that person. Now, what I always think is a Kanban view is a great way for visual people to be able to see a task and be able to drag the status between, going, done, completed, whatever your sort of setup is. But it's really important to understand whether you're that type of person. So I would say Kanban's visual. List is more traditional. List is something that a lot of applications like Todoist and TickTick follow, allowing you to see this sort of very linear productivity, and for people like me, that works. I'm not sure why. It's just something that I found beneficial as I've gone through time. Gantt is very much for those who are, I would say, timeline orientated. If you're working on a project in task management that maybe needs you to be dependent on a few things moving forward and, trickling forward, then that Gantt structure is going to help you out massively. Chart, I've not ever had an interaction with a chart tool, but maybe that's, for example, like mind mapping charts. That really, again, is more of a visual tool, and if that's something that helps you to plot out tasks, that could be a good one for you. There's apps like MindMeister for that. Calendar, this is again someone that is very strict on liking to see their date and what tasks they have on. And Box is more suitable for those who are based on assignees. For example, they want to see tasks based on a certain context, like who's assigned to it or what priority level this is. So again, this really depends on how you've been taught about project management or task management. If you're someone that follows GTD, then I think more of a linear process will probably work with you, like a list view. And if you're being taught maybe a more visual, or you're a designer or in that sort of creative industry, then I think the calendar, the chart and the Kanban might be more suitable for you. So yeah, I mean, Pierre, feel free to share sort of more context if you need sort of more help. Then I'm more than happy to recommend the best way to set up for you. But I wouldn't overthink it. Try one, see what works, and keep moving forward. So the final question is from Frank. He has a great name on the Facebook group. It's Voyagerman Frank. I don't know whether that's actually his first name or last name. It would be a wicked last name if it was, but I see him in comments all the time, so thank you for being part of the group, Frank. Your question was, what app is there that has a subtask nesting capabilities inside a Trello board environment? Now, yes, that's a good question, because that's a little bit trickier to find. And I would say there are sort of two applications that do this. The only issue is one of them has very limited abilities at the moment in terms of its progression. But Trello is one of them. Trello has a great checklist ability in terms of if you're allowing nesting inside of subtasks and creating these checklists. Again, it's very different. It's a very different sort of task management application, but the other one is TickTick in a Kanban view, so you can nest stuff in the Kanban view, allowing you to see a couple of subtasks and open up those tasks. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple more that sort of allude to the calendar space, but those are the two main ones that I would recommend, is Trello and TickTick on Mac, I believe it is, because the Kanban view is only available on Mac, which is a bit of a shame at the moment, but it's something that, actually it's available on Windows, desktop, it's available on Windows, so Windows, Mac, and equals desktop. So guys, hopefully that was useful for you. Feel free to send in some more questions. I'm only taking sort of 3 a week. I think that's a good sort of balance at the moment. But feel free to check out Woven. Woven is a sponsor for this month. You can check out all about how amazing their calendar application it is. And I'll leave you with this advert to end. But a big thank you, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Cheers, everyone. So guys, this month's sponsor is Woven. Now, Woven is a all-in-one calendar with powerful scheduling tools. Now, I discovered it back in November last year, and I've been using it for the last 3 months to manage my podcast meetings, festive plans, and much more. Now, Woven builds on existing calendar systems and gives you scheduling superpowers. Now, first off, Woven has plenty of scheduling tools baked in. Send scheduling links to book one-to-one meetings with clients. Create group polls to plan an after-work event. Or use smart templates to quickly time block your calendar. Secondly, the powerful Maps feature allows you to plot and plan your commutes, organise where your next meeting is, and get a sense of direction in your day. Quite literally. My favourite feature has to be the scheduling tools. I've been using them for the podcast, arranging meetings, and also collaborations on the YouTube channel, and I've found it really easy to use. The design has to be shouted out too. Woven's attractive desktop app screams easy to use scheduling and helps you to get comfortable with your calendar. And Woven isn't just on desktop. You can get it on web and iOS too, with an Android app on the horizon. Now, I made a bold statement a few months ago, Woven is a new sunrise, and they're heading into a bright future. So try out this powerful calendar application today by visiting woven.com/keepproductive for more details. Thanks to Woven for sponsoring Keep Productive this month.